Hey there, superstars. His name is Aaron, and he had 2 bowls of Fruit Loops for breakfast this morning.
His name's Tommy, and he does what Nintendo don't.
And you're listening to the SuperPod Saga. That's right. You are listening to the one and only SuperPod Saga of all the podcasts on the internet. This is one of them. And this is the show where Aaron and I, one of us brings a different video game topic to the table every week, and we bring on a guest that we found on the streets, and we discuss it.
We could bribe him with a sausage McMuffin.
Oh, yes. That gets a lot of people.
Yeah, it does.
Our special guest today is Mr. Ryan from the List Off podcast. Hi, Ryan.
Hi, how you guys doing? I'm a sucker for sausage McMuffins, so
I knew it.
That's easy enough to get me on the show for sure.
Too easy.
Yeah, it was almost too easy. We didn't even say anything. We just held it out and you came.
I'm telling you, I could smell them from a mile away.
Ryan, why don't you tell the listeners at home a little about the List Off podcast and what video games you like so that everyone can properly judge you?
Yeah, no, people can definitely judge me. It's very easy based on the games I like. One of my top favorite games of all time is probably The Last of Us Part 2, and then immediately people either like me or don't just by me saying that. So I'm curious what side the listeners fall on. But yeah, the List Off podcast, we've been around for about 3 years. We used to do top 10 lists of different video gaming topics.
Sure.
And we have a healthy backlog of episodes there, but we got a little tired of that format, feeling forced to come up with new lists and then kind of having to fit that list. And so we're a little more free form now. We talk about gaming and pop culture news on a weekly basis. And we also have a side series on YouTube that I'm doing called Weehaw, where I document my adventures in building a collection for the Nintendo Wii.
Oh, that's fun. That's a good name too.
That's cool.
Yeah, I was so surprised it wasn't taken. When how did nobody come up with Weehaw? The Wii's been around for like 20 years. Nobody thought of this.
You were the first. Where can people find the podcast and on social media and also to listen to?
Yeah, so we're available on anywhere you listen to your podcast. Just List Off Podcast with Brian and Ryan, and we're on all social media as well. List Off Podcast. We're on Twitter. I think as listoff_podcast and Instagram as List Off Podcast. I guess it's not Twitter anymore, right?
I always question whether to make that joke or not.
It's actually something I didn't even consider till now. I guess we are on X. As listoff_podcast. I know, right? I know.
Oh man, it just feels dirty. It feels nasty.
I hate it. I hate it. It's not good.
I do too.
Where can people find us on the internet, Aaron, if they want more SuperPod Saga juicy goodness?
If they want some scrumdiddlyumptious SuperPod Saga content, they can go to superpodsaga.com. Available at all major retailers, but not superpodsaga.com. All of our episodes, our blog, our support page, which has our Patreon. If you enjoy the show, you want to give us money.
Nom 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 nom.
Yep, and then yeah, SuperPod Saga. No, and our socials too. Sorry, holy shit, I need to drink more of this drink. Our socials are on there. There's no X logo yet, unfortunately, Elon.
Oh, is there really not? That's funny.
No, it's still the bird.
That's going to confuse people. They're going to be like, where's the X? I want to follow them on X.
Where the fuck does this bird go?
What is this bird?
Is this?
Yeah, it's like Twitter never existed for like well over a decade.
It's like that episode of Nathan For You where he's like, what this means?
Yeah.
Yeah, but we're here to talk about video games, right? Right, guys? You guys like video games?
I'm here for sausage McMuffins.
Oh, well, shoot, that's right. There's more to this than just the McMuffin.
Top 10 sausage McMuffins. Number 1, McDonald's.
This one in my hand.
Shit.
Oh, okay. Yeah, video games is why I thought we were here. So if everyone can just kind of rack their brains for some video games, that would be cool. We're going to talk about the best genre mixes. What?
The Discord stuff.
We're going to talk about video games later, but first, we have our one and only very special Let's Ask the Discord stuff segment.
Yeah.
And And what we asked them was, we went to our Discord, which is the SuperPod Saga Discord, which you can join and take part in. We asked, what are some of your favorite examples of genre mixes? Any games that mix two or more genres together?
And I guess I'm starting. By the way, Tommy, your voice is just so sultry with this new mic. I never noticed that. It's great.
Thank you. I hope the people appreciate it.
I'm sure they will. Audience, please leave comments about how turned on you are by listening to Tommy's voice.
On a scale of 1 to 10.
But yeah, so the first one, Chris ANC on Novel Console, of course. Battle Chef Brigade. It's a match 3 game meets a beat 'em up meets Chopped. I've played that game and I love it. That is a good one.
Chopped. The chopped part is what really makes it for me. I love Chopped.
Like, oh, I never knew this about you. I've never loved you more than I do now. I live for Chopped.
Finally. It's so great. Real Dave Jackson said Yoku's Island Express. Pinball meets Metroidvania. Love it.
Yeah, boy, I'm a big advocate of Yoku's Island Express. I love that game.
Yeah, I played the demo and I enjoyed it.
Next one, Deadbeat Punk. Borderlands, a hybrid between dungeon crawler looter and first-person shooter.
Yep.
Yeah, boy.
That was like the granddaddy of shlooters.
Shloot. What'd you call me?
Schluter.
My co-host is a big fan of the series. I played a little bit. I never really got into it. I think I missed it when it was like the hot thing, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Hochum or Hotchum, still got to ask how to pronounce it. Said, I like card games when they are integrated well into games with purpose. There are a lot of roguelike card games, but Inscription was probably my favorite card-related game because of how tied into the narrative it was. I can tell exactly why he is a listener to this podcast.
Yeah, baby.
Inscription's great. Absolutely.
Inscription is so fucking cool.
Did you ever beat it, Aaron?
Yeah, well, maybe I think because I beat Leshy, and then now I'm in that like Game Boy-esque like.
You haven't beat it.
Yeah.
Oh fuck. Okay, no, I'll get to it. Sorry.
You haven't experienced anything.
It's a memorable. Yeah.
Yeah.
If you beat it, it's very memorable.
You would know.
Shit. Okay.
Especially you specifically. There's something in there that like I've been waiting years for you to experience.
Years. Okay.
Yeah. He also said there's a new game coming out called Moonstone Island that is a mix of creature combat, card games, farming, which was fun in the demo. And he also said, I like farming, crafting, build up your farm or whatever games, but they are beyond oversaturated at the moment. Stardew, Sunhaven, Graveyard Keeper are really nice.
Nice. We're meaning to play Graveyard Keeper because that sounds really cool.
Could never get into Stardew though, but that's on me.
I'm the same. Everybody's like, oh, Stardew is such a good game, and I just couldn't do it.
It stresses me out more than anything, honestly. I hate having to decide what to do on my farm because I just panic about crops growing, and if I'm doing the right things, talking to the right people, it's a stress game for me.
Yeah, I could see that.
I have that with Animal Crossing. People are like, Animal Crossing is so relaxing. It's like it's the most like chilled out game there is, but like I get so fucking like over
man.
What's the word I'm looking for? Not over fucking
Let's just say, overwhelmed. When that first came out, your messages of all the stuff you were getting, you're like, I gotta complete the set. I can't just have one of these. I have to have all of these. Right?
Or you like miss a day, and then you're like, oh my god, there's gonna be so many weeds I have to pull.
Dude, yes. All this fucking fruit that I need to shake out of trees, all the fossils I gotta dig up, all the gifts that these motherfuckers need.
They're constantly debt, right?
That's the worst part.
It's like it's just a big stress simulator, honestly. Sorry. Lightning Quick. Yeah, okay. Lightning Quick Jared, who's from Play Along Podcast, by the way. He says Creature in the Well, pinball mixed with dungeon crawler hack and slash puzzle game.
And he posted a GIF, which is super cool because it shows it. And it does look like a really cool game idea.
I need it.
Sounds cool. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Chan said, Dave the Diver. It's like water exploration, hunting sharks and tuna with weapons during the day, and at night it's a cooking simulator. The game is super dope.
It sounds fucking awesome. I need this game too. Bach, or his name was Bach Wheel, but he changed it for the the roundtable discussion. But
Ah.
Peach Leaf Pirates is a really good farming sim with RPG type quests and combat, similar to Stardew Valley. I've never heard of it, but it sounds cool
I mean, pirates
because
are
you're
cool.
pirates.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly. Yes. Yes.
yeah, yeah.
Pizza Dinosaur said, "This might be a basic bitch answer, but Mega Man. That was so different at the time because it married the run and gun with the platformer. Yes, all run and gun games have a degree of platforming to them, but the focus in Contra and Metal Slug is clearly shooting. Mega Man equally balances both. Honestly, I still think it's pretty novel."
That's a damn good answer.
Yeah, I hadn't thought
I
about
agree.
that before, but that's true.
Mm-hmm. It requires definitely a lot of like memorization of enemy attack patterns and like the level as well. There's a lot of really fucking difficult levels that you need to have like precise jumps and
Yeah.
strategically take out enemies.
You got Mega Man did a unique thing too, where you could like pick the order you play it in. You know, I don't know if that's a genre, but it was like the first game that I remember that really did that. Yeah.
Yes.
That is awesome. And then Distorted Rules, the last one, he says, as you know, I love the Parasite Eve 1 game. The mix of horror and RPG and a unique combat style is phenomenal. Also a huge fan of Destiny/Borderlands series. The looter shooter genre, Schluter, has mixed two game styles I really enjoy, RPG and FPS. We definitely agree.
Yeah, we do. Good picks. Good picks, everyone.
Yeah, good pick with Parasite Eve there, too.
Yeah.
Did you guys hear that?
Yeah,
yes.
Yeah, I heard that. If you want to tell us about games that you like, you should join the Discord, too.
Yep, you just go to superpodsaga.com and it's right there on the top right with our socials. Just see the Discord icon. It's so right easy. There.
Yeah, do it.
So blind. Just
do it.
Click it.
Don't worry about terms and conditions or any of that. Just do it.
Yeah.
SuperPod Saga will never push you through T's and C's ever. We're not about that.
No. But let's get to the main event. The reason people are listening right now is to hear our beautiful voices talk about video games that we like. Genre mixes. I guess I'll just get started off.
Yeah.
Yep. And this is where I would cut in that one Saliva song where it's like, boom, do you want it? Boom, do you need it?
That was on a Tiger Woods game back in the day, which
what
did not.
That's the most anti-Saliva game ever.
Oh, it's great.
I can picture like the intro being cut with like all these cool cuts to it.
I need
like
to
right
find
with
that.
the cue of the music and
as you're hitting the ball.
Oh yes, boom! Do you want it? It's just like mid-40s dudes thwacking balls barely.
All you hear is like birds chirping while you're on the actual course playing the game. But
oh, that was good. I'm gonna start with a game that everyone else already said to get it out of the way.
Okay.
Borderlands. Borderlands,
Yay!
especially back when it came out, was really unique in the whole open world first person shooter looting thing, because no one, as far as I'm aware, hadn't really done that yet or done it as well as fun as Borderlands made it. Like, I had that on my laptop back in the day, and just getting new guns all the time, because there was a million guns with different abilities and different things. It just like was such a fun playground to explore. Like, I remember my favorite gun, whenever I would reload it, my guy would just chuck it and it would heat seek to the enemy and blow up like a grenade. And I'm like, who comes up with that? Like, every other game at the time was just military guns that do military gun things. And here it was like, you're going to have so much fun. Just go and do whatever you want and have fun with it.
And they very quickly evolved over the years too. Like Borderlands 2 is still like the best in the series with how much you can do in that game. They added like 2 new characters beyond like the normal 4, and then the skill trees are just fucking insane.
Oh, yes.
And then
skill trees, I even forgot about that.
The guns were even more insane in that too. But tell us about the skill trees, Tommy.
I only saw that the end of one of the skill trees was called Sexual Tyrannosaurus, and so I just picked that. I didn't really explore the other ones.
Who was your what character did you pick when you first which character did you pick in the first game? Like the very first one?
I'm trying to remember. That was so long ago. We were just little babies back then. Was there a man with a turret?
Yeah, the commando. Yeah.
I picked the man with the turret.
I picked the hunter who had the bird.
Borderlands is a game.
It is a game.
That's what I have to contribute.
Yes, you were right. You were totally right.
Thank you.
You absolutely should play them. Borderlands 2 is on sale quite often, and
I kind of want to play Borderlands 2 now that we talked about it.
I have like the Handsome collection because it went to the
Oh.
PS Plus at one point. So
There you go.
I've dived into it before with my co-host, and I played a few hours, but it was one of those things where like we had the best laid plans. Like, okay, we started this like campaign, and he was all psyched, and I'm like, yeah, we could do it together. We could play through the whole thing co-op, and then just like never picked it back up after that first night of playing.
Oh,
that
man.
exact same thing happened to me with the friend. I also had my brain do some weird thing where I kind of blacked out while playing it, which made me not want to play anymore. But also, like, it was a
Holy
Destiny
shit.
friend that I was playing with, and we were like, "No, let's just play Destiny." 'Cause we were playing Destiny at the time.
Nice.
But it was cool. Like you said, the depth of the weapons was something that is immediately apparent. Like having never played a Borderlands game prior to it, it was like, we'd get new weapon drops from enemies we defeated, and I'd find myself sitting in the menu for like 5 minutes, just like, okay,
dude.
which one actually has more effective stats, and
yeah, seeing all those green arrows. Oh my gosh, excuse me, boy, I bet that burp was high quality for everyone.
I actually didn't even hear it. I heard like the last like the peak of it, like where you went oop and then started talking.
Yeah,
good. The just seeing all the green arrows that show all your stuff is better. That's a good feeling. That makes my brain happy.
Yeah, baby. Speaking of happy, pocket card jockey, baby.
Oh, your favorite.
Yeah, it is.
What genres does this mix?
Holy shit. Okay. Horse racing, solitaire, RPG, not necessarily farm sim, but like you breed horses. Unfortunately, you don't stick your hands up their butts. But I mean, it's cool
wasted
regardless.
Opportunity there.
I know. Hand up ass simulator.
In VR. Make it in VR.
Yes.
With that weird like Japanese peripheral where it's like a silicone ass or whatever.
Oh no.
Oh shit. Okay. So Pocket Card Jockey, it was only on the 3DS eShop. Now I think it's on iOS, but
it is.
Holy shit, where do I even begin? So you race horses, and in order to race them, you play games of solitaire, but I'll kind of like build up to each part. But so different horses have different stats, like speed, stamina. They have different, I guess, abilities is what you call them. Like some horses excel at being behind, like if they're behind other horses in the race, they'll get a speed boost, or if they're in front of horses, they'll get a speed boost, stuff like that. And after a race, your horse will gain XP, and of course, if they get enough XP, they level up, and that'll increase their stats, and they might learn a new ability. But during a race, there will be different little cards on the field that you can pick up, and if you use them during solitaire, you'll get their thing. Like there's ones that have like a little carrot on them, and that's your adds to your overall stamina throughout the race, or there's like a blue fireball that gives you like a big speed boost on the finishing, I guess like the final stretch of the race, and there's like a bunch of others. But so during the race, basically to determine how well you do in the race, you'll play a game of solitaire, and the goal is to use up all the cards in your deck, because at the end, when time runs out and you still have cards in your deck, they'll affect your horse's attitude, which greatly affects how much stamina it uses while it's running. And of course, when you get to the final stretch and you have like no stamina, your horse is just this is going to go super slow. And, but yeah, what else is there? There's items you can buy to make it so, like, there's a pair of goggles that'll make it so you can see like the top card of your deck when you're playing solitaire, or like I forget what they're called, those like little sticks that they have that they used to like smack the horse to make it run faster.
A whip.
Yeah, there you go.
Those sticks.
Just a whip.
just a twig.
Yeah. That's like, what an interesting game. This is the first I'm hearing of it, and like I love when games do this. They just take things that don't make any sense working together and somehow find a way to make it work.
It's so wildly addictive. Like, it's at the end of that, like when I first bought it, I played it for maybe like a couple hours straight, and I felt like I needed to call 1-800-bets off after that, because it was like it's so tough to put down once you start. And then after like so many races, your horse will get to a certain age where it has to retire, and you'll put it out on the farm.
Oh my gosh, you you scared me.
I
No,
thought
you
so
don't.
too.
No,
I
you don't
don't.
ever put them down. No,
I
they
thought, yeah, I
stay.
thought you were gonna say you put it out of their misery, and you're like, you put
No,
them
no,
out
no,
on
my
the
bad.
farm. I was like, oh, thank goodness.
But yeah, on the farm is when you'll breed horses, and you can like you pick if you pick kind of like Pokemon, you like pick the ones with like the best stats or whatever, and then they'll
Breed 'em.
crap out. Yeah, you'll crap out a baby horse with like the best stats and best ability mixes and all that stuff. And horses have like different appearances too, like they'll have different colors or like different types of horses and shit
Just
like
like real
that.
life.
Yes, yes.
Hey, did you mention that it was made by Game Freak, the Pokemon people?
I didn't. No, yeah, it was
What?
made by Pokemon people. Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Whoa. How have I never heard of this?
Right?
It's super. It was only a 3DS eShop exclusive, unfortunately. So there's unless you have it, there's no way to get it. But I'm sure you could.
Apple
I'm sure you could
Arcade. If you subscribe to Apple Arcade you can play it on your iPhone too.
that, or
Interesting.
you could emulate it probably. But
Probably. Yeah.
Whoa,
don't tell
whoa.
anybody I told you that.
No, that is illegal.
That's true. We don't do that.
That's right. That's right. So I don't know if I should go the super obvious route here, or if
Yes.
the first one I mentioned should be something that I don't think other people will bring up.
If you tease the people with things that are going to come later, they'll listen longer.
Oh yeah, that's right. Good tactic. So more obscure games to come, but the first one I'm going to mention is Rocket League.
Ooh,
good
This was
pick.
the one
that's- yeah.
that like immediately came to mind when I was like, okay, I mean, mixed genres, right? Like it's a driving sim
Absolutely.
/ soccer game / like physics construct. It's
Yep.
a lot of fun though. I played Rocket League. I first got it when it came to Switch. And bought it. So I didn't have the best experience. I wasn't getting like the full Rocket League experience. It's kind of a condensed version that was available on the
Sure.
Switch, but I still had such a great time with it. I don't care what the the surrounding area of the arena looks like nothing about
Yeah.
the gameplay was different, right?
Yep.
And just learning the little nuances of how to like get off the line fast and how to judge the movement of the ball and getting in its way and everything. It's such a nuanced game with that physics engine and the ability to get the cars to actually fly. You see these clips online where
Yep.
people are doing like the most insane stuff, and then you try it and you're like, wow, I burnt through all my fuel really, really quickly, and I'm now falling back down. But I think this game succeeded and is still succeeding because it nailed the feel of everything, how the cars drive, how the ball reacts to them, how you're able to manipulate the rockets to fly through the air. Everything was like so finely tuned. And it's such an interesting mix, and it's funny that it's one of those things where once it was available, it's like, oh, of course. Like, of course,
right? Of
it's
course.
car soccer. Like, why wouldn't somebody come up with this game? And it's funny it took us this long to get it,
Yeah.
But
And
Rocket League.
I one thing that I think I've forgotten about just because I have like 750 hours of Rocket League. It's stupid.
Damn.
Wow.
You forget how much work they put into the actual physics of the game. Like I remember when the game first came out, someone took the cars and just like drove them in a circle to show that the turn radius of each car was different based on the wheel placement, and then everyone figured out all the hitboxes were different too.
Right,
So
right.
it's a game that like it's not like a fighting game where you have to memorize things and try and predict people's combos. You get better at Rocket League by playing, by finding a car that just feels right to you and learning how the ball bounces off the wall and figuring out the corners and stuff. It's just so dang good.
Oh yeah, so many of those like emergent gaming moments too, where
Mhm.
you make the perfect save or get that crazy goal, and you're just able to clip it, and it's like that
Yep.
memory that like it feels good. It makes you feel like you're actually accomplishing something while playing a video game, right? Doing something incredible while playing
Yeah.
a video game. Yeah.
I it's so easy because you just hit the select button and it saves the whole game if you want, or at least it did back in the day.
Cool.
And so every once in a while, I'll go back to view some of my earliest games and just judge my past self about how absolute trash I was when I was first playing. Because you are bad. Like it's hard to figure out how to jump and flip and maneuver the car and hit the ball. And just watching myself way back then just flail about wildly, I'm just like, oh, how so embarrassing.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I'm still pretty embarrassing. I never got that good. I definitely didn't put 750 hours into it, but I got to a point where like I would do a cool thing every once in a while and
Yep.
feel really good about it.
Speaking of video games, my next pick. My next pick is going to be another obvious one for people who listen to us, but Slay the Spire
Yeah,
is
I had
is
this.
such
I
a
had this.
is such a good mix of roguelike and card battling, card collecting, deck building. That's the word I'm looking for, deck building. Um, this is one of my top 10 games of all time, probably. I never would have predicted that this game would make me obsessed like it has, but it's just somehow perfect in its versatility and the different decks, the different characters. When you like play it enough to like know the ins and outs of each enemy as well, and how you can use whatever deck you've built to try and beat them, or being halfway through a run and getting a really good card that you weren't planning for, but being like, I think I can pivot into this and make it work, and then actually making it work is so fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had this
God,
on
that
my
game is so
list.
good.
This is a perfect pick.
Mm-hmm. Thank you.
I
What are your guys' experience with Into the Breach?
Into the
Slay
Breach or
the
Slay the
Spire.
Spire?
Slay the Spire. My bad.
Okay.
There's a lot of
Ryan.
games that are like blank the blank.
Yeah,
Yeah,
seriously.
for real. No, Ryan, you can go first. Everybody's heard me talk about Slay the Spire. It's your time to shine.
Oh yeah, no. So I was really excited when I first got my Series X. I was like, oh, this is great. Like I'm ready for the next gen of Xbox titles, and I had Game Pass linked into it, and I'm like, oh man, this is gonna graphically blow me away. And I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, there's a cool deck builder named Slay the Spire on Game Pass. Why don't I try that? And I'm sure I don't have to tell you or anyone listening how uh, the graphics are in Slay the Spire. Definitely not its strong
Not the
point,
best.
right?
Yeah, yeah. No.
Neither are the animations, but man, that only makes the gameplay sing that much louder because
Yeah.
it's the only reason you're sticking with the game. And it's like you said, it's that first it's like any good roguelite, right? Like your first
Mhm.
run, you're just figuring everything out. Your 1st
Mhm.
5 runs, you're just figuring everything out. And then you get into those nuances, like understanding how each character you select works and what their decks are like and the strengths of them, and then understanding the enemies and how to approach each enemy. And it's that like beautiful mix of a well-paced learning curve, but getting to like perfection to where you're superbly good at the game is extremely difficult.
Mhm.
Yes.
Yeah, it's a great game. I still play it every once in a while.
I didn't play it until it came to Switch, which I guess was before it came to other consoles like Xbox and PlayStation. But I I think I was the one that told Tommy to get it, and then Tommy was that right?
I
I
don't
played
think
it.
so.
Okay. Well, yeah, it's just really good. It's just a really awesome game. I especially love I love when like any game gives you multiple characters and then each character has like more than one way to play them
Yep.
because like I don't want to be bored with just doing the same thing with each character every single time. But yeah, Slay the Spire, like each character has at least like three different play styles to pick and choose from in case like you start off as like the silent and you're like, oh dude, I got this sweet artifact that makes it so like zero cost cards do +3 more damage. Guess I'm going shivs. And then you can just kind of build more into that or like add some poison to it. And it's just so, and it's such a great feeling of like getting to a shop and then like he's offering you all these cards on sale and just be like, oh, my deck is perfect as it is. Fuck you, merchant. And then you're just blowing through each enemy encounter with your well-oiled machine that is a
Yeah.
deck. And yeah,
Yeah,
it's just so satisfying and all the
I
unlockables too, dude.
absolutely.
I love getting a surprising build that you weren't anticipating. Like the warrior, his main focus is like building his strength up so that he does more damage with his attacks. But one time I got a card that was like your defense, how do I word it? Like your shield is what you attack with, and then you lose your shield, like however much armor you have built up. And I was like, that's stupid. Why would I ever want to get that? And then I got another card that was like, your shield doesn't disappear between rounds. Your armor doesn't disappear between rounds. And I was like, oh, so I can just buff up my defense every round and keep stacking and stacking and then unleash it whenever I get that card for massive damage. And I just rode that all the way through to the end. And I wasn't expecting that. It was such a cool idea.
Yeah. Sometimes you have those opportunities to adapt, and it works out better than you'd expect.
Yeah. Slayless
Man, so good. Wait, whose pick was that? Yours, Tommy?
That was mine.
Okay. Speaking of great games, how about Cult of the Lamb?
Oh.
Or no,
tell
I
me
should
more.
I should have made it about roguelikes. Fuck. Well, anyway, well, yeah, Cult of the Lamb. It's another roguelike. The combat is just like hack and slashy kind of shit. But then there's the cult simulation, which like you can't see it, but I'm doing the like the okay like hand symbol bullshit. But I've spent way more time on the cult management than I have the combat or like anything else, because it's just so great. Just feed your followers bowls of poop. Like really,
they want it though. Some of them want it.
That's true. Yeah, sometimes they do. It's just so cool to like, you can go on like say one run through like a boss and then gather up like a shit ton of like wood and like stone and all sorts of other shit. Maybe you find like an extra follower, but then come right back to your cult and then just spending like fucking 4 to 5 hours with that, and then doing like another say like 30-minute run, another 4 or 5 hours with your cult, and it's just so cool. Just building new structures and getting new not sermons but like rituals and all that other shit, and then just beefing up your cult to be this like, oh man, it's so good. It's so fun. It's so good.
I have not played Cult of the Lamb.
I haven't played it, so I can't speak on it.
My co-host has told me all about it. That's how I knew sometimes they want to eat poo. Like I know there are sometimes like cult members who ask for it, which is very odd. But yeah, I've heard lots of good things.
It's great, dude. I remember when it came out, and I asked Tommy, I was like, should I buy it on my laptop or on my Switch? And he was like, laptop, Cult of the Lap or whatever. And then my laptop couldn't run it, so I was like, no, it's on Switch now.
The more powerful gaming device.
Yeah, okay. Right. You always pick the more powerful one. Speaking of the Nintendo Switch, when it was new, its first year when it came out, it had so many good titles. It had, Breath of the Wild. I think Mario Odyssey was within that first year, right? Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. But there was a little indie title that I fell in love with, and it was Golf Story, which is a mix of a golf game and an RPG. And it's such an endearing little game. Yes. It's a really compelling RPG of you climbing the ranks of this golf world and kind of earning respect for your mentor. And at the same time, you all the courses have these different layouts, and they're very fun. None of them are like super real. A few of them actually are kind of realistic, but it's all this like top down kind of view. And it's a pretty in-depth golf game in there as well. And it's just a really cool blend of the two, with good humor, good writing, a good storyline, and it keeps you engaged the whole way through. I had such a good time with it. It was one of those titles that like I don't hear many people talk about anymore. But within that first year of the Switch, it was one of my favorite titles on the console.
You're basically describing me. Because I did the same thing. I had the Switch early and I got Golf Story, and I was like, this is so fun. What a fun little game. I love this.
Yeah, it is. And it's like, I think Sports Story came out, or it's like they're making sports. It came out. Was it good?
No.
Oh, I heard
bad, bad reviews, and also the developers were overworked and what's the word? Crunched and stuff. They made a secret room in the files where you can go and they talk to the people and they air their grievances about management and stuff.
Oh my gosh, that's terrible.
Yeah, real sad.
Galdern.
Yeah.
Ain't that a hoot?
Well, if you want to remember the better days of this development company, you should play Golf Story.
Yeah, and sorry, go on.
No, go ahead.
Speaking of it being on the first year of the Switch, it also had when the ball would go in the hole, it would like the HD rumble in the controller would feel like the ball dropping, and I was like, oh, this is the future. This is the future of video games.
Right. I was one of those people who made the mistake of buying 1-2 Switch, but there was a game in there where you would like roll the Joy-Con.
Yeah, you roll the marble in a can.
Yeah, you'd have to like find out how many balls were in the can or something. And I was like, what? I had the same thought. I'm like, this is the future. I feel the balls in my hand.
And then you never said that again.
No, it is the future.
I need to go back and play Golf Story. I never beat it because I came across a glitch that kept me from getting any further. It was at some like there's this part where you're at like a golf simulator, and I forget what exactly happened to me, but I can't progress any further, and I stopped. I was like, man, that sucks. And then other games came out.
I remember there being a steep curve at one point in the game. It's been years since I played it, but I do remember like having a pretty easy time cruising through the game, and then all of a sudden, you know, I want to say about 7 hours in, it was like, oh, holy shit, like this got really hard all of a sudden, and it was out of nowhere.
Weird.
Yeah.
I remember just appreciating the differences each round of golf you played, because they just had like little differences. Like there are birds in this one that might pick up your ball, or I'm trying to remember what the other ones were, but there were like little unique things with each course, and I really appreciated that just to keep every round fresh.
Like crabs?
Crabs, yeah, maybe
there were crabs.
Wasn't there like a dinosaur land one too, like cavemen or something? I remember.
That sounds cool. I hope there is.
Yeah.
Oh man, good times. Speaking of games on the Nintendo Switch,
yeah,
I want to talk about Ring Fit Adventure.
Oh,
which is a mix between an exercise game and an RPG.
That's cool.
Yeah. Have you ever played it, Aaron or Ryan?
No.
I've only seen like a few gameplays of it.
This is another one where my co-host was like, "It actually makes you sweat. You should play it."
And, 1,000%. I hate exercising. I hate running. I hate working out. And
oh my god!
But when I play Ring Fit Adventure, I'm having fun. I'm having fun exercising. They did it. But more than it's like an actual full RPG. Like you guys have no idea. You level up and you unlock new quote unquote attacks, which are just different workouts, and they are around different colors. So like workouts with your arms are red, workout with your abs are yellow, I want to say, or your legs are yellow, and yoga poses are green. And as you start a level, you'll run through it and face enemies, and then it's turn-based combat. And if the enemy is red, you have to do an arm workout to do more damage to it. Which seems pretty simple, but as you level up, you get stronger and stronger attacks, which are more and more difficult workouts. So it's like teaching you to, or it's like tricking you into doing harder workouts for longer by making you fight stronger enemies.
Like
and there's boss fights.
Yeah,
there's boss fights too, where you have to do stuff, and it makes you use your body in all these ways, and you don't even think about working out. It doesn't even feel like you're working out because you're just having fun beating enemies and stuff. And you get items at the end that you can, like, you get different fruits and stuff that you can make into smoothies that give you stat boosts, and you actually have to squeeze the ring to make the juice. It's just so
very
charming.
cool idea.
There's side quests. You can find people that do side quests. Like I got stuck on a place because I wasn't strong enough to, like, I just got too tired doing the workout, so I couldn't beat the guy. So I was like, let me go to a past land, and I found all these people who needed help with stuff, and I was like, oh, I can help you through the power of working out.
The power of working
I
out.
could help you with this side quest by flexing my muscles.
Yeah, and the story has like sages, of working out. Like there's people with really strong legs, and they're like, you can't have stronger legs than me. And I was like, just you fucking watch, buddy. I may be weak, but I have thick legs.
Put that motherfucker in his place, Tommy. Well done.
Yeah. I just couldn't believe that it had all these RPG elements, and it just felt like I was playing a game, but they were tricking me into working out.
Good job, game.
Thank you, game. Speaking of sweet thighs or whatever, um, Project X Zone or X
The
Zone
heck is
2.
Yeah.
Oh, buddy. Oh, baby. Oh, just. Oh, yeah. So all the characters and stuff. It's like this big crossover of Capcom and Bandai Namco
Whoa.
and Sega and stuff like that. So you'll see like Dante, Ryu, fucking Mega Man, Chris Redfield, a bunch of like anybody from fucking Dot Hack or Ulala from for Ulala from the
Shut up.
what Space Channel 5. I don't fucking know, but yeah, so you start off, you just move your fellas along a grid, of course, like typical strategy RPG fashion. Um, and once you get to an enemy, you'll initiate combat again, like a usual strategy RPG. But instead of like, say, Fire Emblem, where they just attack on their own and do it all for you, or like Shining Force, they do it all for you and stuff like that. Um, Instead, it's like on one screen, of course, you'll see your characters facing the enemy, and then on the other screen, you'll see like different button combinations for like different moves and shit, like a fighting game. And yeah, the combat plays like a fighting game. You have this small window of time to do as much damage as possible to the enemies,
Mhm.
and you'll just beat the crap out of them and juggle them and just blast the piss out of them. And by any chance at all, have either of you ever played Valkyrie Profile?
No.
No.
Okay, well, it's got
I've heard of
like
that one though.
it's a little bit like that too. Like when the enemy's health gets to like a certain threshold, or when you fill a certain gauge or something like that, you'll do like a super move, and you'll just blast even more piss out of them until they're just fresh out of piss. And it's just such a good game. Oh, and there's Fire Emblem characters in there too.
Of
Sorry about
course.
that.
This is
Yeah,
nuts.
it's awesome,
I
dude.
can't believe I feel I can't believe that I didn't know that it exists, and I can't believe that I can't believe it exists.
It's awesome.
Dude,
It
there's a
rules.
sequel. There's a sequel. It has Kiryu
Aaron,
from
did
the
you know there's a
Yakuza
sequel?
games in it.
Yeah, I never played the first one. X Zone 2
Phoenix
was the one I
Wright.
played. Yeah.
Yeah,
Does
and it has
Phoenix Wright
the
fight
guy-
people?
Shenmue.
Yeah. Yeah, Phoenix Wright is also in Marvel vs. Capcom 3. And yeah, you can play as Phoenix Wright. And he'll just be like, objection! Then he'll throw like his briefcase and shit.
Oh, that's excellent.
Classic Phoenix, right?
Why
Yeah,
haven't they
dude,
made more?
I don't know. I'll read about it more, but that'd be cool if they did. Like you don't use the touch screen for anything. Like you might as well make a 3 for like Switch or like everything else.
Um, I'm reading from Wikipedia, which we haven't actually done in a while.
Oh yeah, let's hear it.
Hideki Kamiya of Platinum Games, he stated he was approached about having Sega character Bayonetta included in this game, to which he refused, as he wanted Bayonetta and Dante from Devil May Cry to meet, quote unquote, on his own terms. Only when I say they get to meet.
Right. That's a crossover I get to do. Project X Zone.
But if there was a third one, he said he would love to include it. But yeah, what a wild game.
No, it sounds crazy.
It's awesome, dude.
The amount of characters too is pretty incredible.
If you can get your hands on a 3DS and or a copy of this game, I'd highly recommend it. It's great.
Yeah, you can't just download it from the eShop anymore.
I mean, you could emulate it, but don't tell anybody that we said that or that I said that.
Yeah, we won't.
It was
we
Ryan.
won't.
Ryan said it.
Speaking of games you can emulate,
Yes.
have you guys ever heard of Typing of the Dead?
Yes.
I have heard of it.
Yeah,
Yes, sir.
that's a good mixed genre game.
That really is, yeah.
I don't know how to word one of the genres. I guess it's just like words per minute trainer meets a first person shooter and meets like a zombie game. But man, this is one of the first. This is like a mixed genre game. It came with its very own peripheral, right? Like the Dreamcast came with a keyboard peripheral to play Typing of the Dead, and this is another one where like it's just a bonkers mix of things that people decide they want to throw into a game and somehow make it work. And there's nothing like comparable to the amount of pressure you feel like when you're like, I'm not a good typist, right? I never learned how to type. I type quickly, but I never learned like, the ASDF and,
Mhm.
the way I learned from hunting, years of hunting and pecking and perfecting that.
I'm not going to let the elite tell me how to type.
Oh, 100%, dude. I am with you. And I've become pretty proficient at typing. But when you have to deal with like, zombies approaching you as you're doing this, and like they're getting closer and closer, and then there's 3 of them, and they all have different words over their heads, it's like, oh my God, that's a lot of stress, dude. And it kind of is more anxiety building than the actual first person shooter game, because it's easy to point and shoot. It's not easy to type under pressure. And it's a good experience. It's a lot of fun. And if you do emulate it on a computer, which I'm not telling you should do, you already have the keyboard.
That's true. You're right. I do already have the keyboard.
Yeah.
I want you guys to know I Googled it, and apparently it was in arcades in Japan. And if you look it up, they just had 2 keyboards set up on the arcade cabinet.
Oh, sweet. So you could do 2-player typing of the dead.
Yeah.
That would be a tough thing to communicate. Like, who has which? Like, if you're both typing the same, the same kill word, right? Or kill phrase. Yeah. Like, I guess like whoever types faster gets it first. But then you're wasting time if there's multiple enemies and you're both choosing the same one to type, right?
Yeah. Which I presume would add to the stress.
I checked in with our good friend Wikipedia about typing of the dead, and it's cool that it came to iOS. Like, they should bring it to it was in iOS in 2012.
2012?
Cool. Yeah,
iPhones didn't exist back then.
It'd be cool if they brought them to well, no, I guess I don't know how that would work with modern phones, because like the keyboard takes up like the whole fucking screen unless you had like a slide out keyboard. So never mind. I miss
slide out keyboards.
Those were the days, dude.
There's nothing to when like a zombie or some monstrosities coming at you and the word to type is like daffodil. Like, shake hands,
Yeah, such a great idea.
I don't want to shake hands.
We should do like a mod for typing of the dead where like all the typing is done in T9 word. That's hard mode right there.
Oh, I love T9. That's how I typed on my PlayStation 3.
Oh, that's right.
It was faster. I will always maintain that it was faster.
Oh, if you could do it faster, good on you.
Yeah, because it's only 9 squares that you have to move across instead of an entire keyboard of squares.
I could see that being faster on a console, yeah.
This guy, he's going off about T9 again every episode.
Tommy's like he's doing the WWE like call out thing to the elite typists out there, like, fuck you, T9 was faster. I'm coming for you, ASDF QWERTY folks.
Yeah, you bring your QWERTY and I'm bringing my T9. No holds barred.
Oh man. Oh, we should take an ad break.
We should take an ad break. That sounds delightful.
That sounds delightful.
Yeah.
We'll be right back.
Be right back. SuperPod Saga is brought to you today by our superstar patrons, A Novel Console, Jared, Jameson, and Adam. You're all as attractive and awesome as you are generous and gracious. Your support means the world to Tommy and I, and of course you're all number one. And we'll continue to pray to your names every single morning, noon, and night. Thank you all. We love you. Hey superstars, are you a coffee addict looking for your next big caffeine fix? Or are you just tired of all the normal boring coffee options out there now? Well, you need to check out Bones Coffee. Bones Coffee has lots of different varieties of coffee flavors. They've got things like red velvet, cookies and cream, s'mores. They've got one that's called Jamaican Me Crazy that's really good. It's like caramel vanilla rum kind of thing. But they also have just your usual, salted caramel and French vanilla and all that stuff. They even have decaf and what's called high voltage, which is just extra strength, and they've also got espresso. They've got all sorts of cool stuff. Plus, if you use coupon code SuperPod Saga at checkout, you'll get 20% off of your order. And again, that's SuperPod Saga at checkout to get 20% off. You can also follow the link in our episode description. And yeah, why not use that one-time coupon code? Like I said, 20% off. It's great. Head over to bonescoffee.com. Get yourself some coffee, some cool gear like mugs or French press kits, stuff like that. Check it out. Okay, bye. It's really important to stay hydrated. They say to drink 8 to 10 cups of water per day to stay properly hydrated, but sometimes that can be difficult to do and completely inconvenient, and most of us don't feel like carrying a gallon of water with us at all times. That's where Liquid IV comes in. Liquid IV is the category-winning hydration brand fueling your well-being, and their hydration multiplier is the one product you're missing in your daily routine. In just one stick, you get 5 essential vitamins and 2 times faster hydration than water alone. Use it first thing in the morning, before a workout, when you feel run down, after a long night out, or on long flights. Man, in Iowa, the summers can be brutal. 90 degrees and tons of humidity, that just saps the energy and water right out of your system within just a few minutes. Luckily, Liquid IV hydrates 2 times faster than water alone, with 3 times the electrolytes of traditional sports drinks. It's very important to replace those electrolytes, and I just love how quick and easy it is to use Liquid IV. You just get one packet and a bottle of water, and you just pour that packet into the bottle of water, shake the heck out of it, and bam, you are good to go. Since using Liquid IV, I've felt way more alert, active, and just plain better versus drinking water alone. My favorite flavors to go to are the Yuzu Pineapple Energy Multiplier and the Tropical Punch Hydration Multiplier. I can't get enough of those ones. And what makes them even better is, like I mentioned earlier, they're packed with 5 essential vitamins like B3, B5, B6, B12, and vitamin C. And again, 3 times the electrolytes of traditional sports drinks. And they're non-GMO and free from gluten, dairy, and soy, which is just great. So you can get 20% off when you go to liquidiv.com and use code SuperPod Saga at checkout. That's 20% off anything when you shop Better Hydration today using promo code SuperPod Saga, SuperPod Saga at liquidiv.com. You have a great one, superstars.
Hey Aaron, hey Ryan, hey listeners at home. Have you ever had ants in your house or apartment or living area?
I am an ant.
Okay, that's not going to be good for this ad. Have you ever had ants?
Yes.
I live in Florida.
Or fruit
Yes.
flies? Okay. Well, guess what? We are partnering with Militarized Ants, the newest company which arms and trains other ants to go into your home and destroy the ants that are currently in them. These ants receive the best training you could possibly imagine from other ants with guns. And you don't have to worry about any... if
With guns.
they do too much damage with like the artillery shells and all that stuff, don't worry, because they also have construction ants which are trained to come in there and replace all the damage that they do. It's an evolving community of ants to get rid of the ants that are destroying your home and eating your food.
That sounds great. Do they do that for other bugs, or is it just ants?
Oh no, yeah, there's fruit fly paratroopers as well.
Yes.
Where do I sign up?
The internet.
I'm
Well-
there.
What's the website, Tommy?
Militarizedants.com.
Oh God, I almost want to type it in.
Well, if you do, you'll find the page of Militarized Ants, the totally real company that is sponsoring this episode.
How do they source their ants and other bugs? Do they how Tommy, how?
So the ant government sends funding to
The sovereign nation of ants.
yes, they send it to sovereign nations in order to
Their negotiations
to
with the
achieve
queen.
democracy. But after the war is over, these ants
The war is never over for the ants.
War's never over.
they form
fuck.
private military groups. And Militarized Ants purchases the services of these private military groups.
I'm sweating, dude. This is
I've played enough Sim Ant to know that war never ends.
shit.
Oh man. Thanks, Militarized Ants. Reach out to militarizedants.com. These ants are marching one by one to clear your home from evil ants.
Hurrah.
Hurrah!
Back.
We're back. We're back from our ad break.
Yes, we are.
Oh, it's my turn.
Yep.
Oh, okay. Have you guys, speaking of defending your home, have you heard of a game called Dungeon Defenders?
Yeah.
Cool.
No.
I had it on PlayStation 3. It's a tower defense mixed with third-person wizarding, I guess I would call it. It's not quite a third-person shooter, but essentially you're in a dungeon and you have a set amount of time to set your tower defenses up, and you can set your towers wherever you want, and then the goblins start coming in, or whatever enemies start coming in, and during
Goblins.
that time you're free to run around and attack on your own, but you can also set up barriers, set up other towers, you can repair your stuff that's getting damaged, and it's such a fun mix of like it's multiplayer too, so you can have up to 4 people running around trying to like shore up defenses in other areas, and trying to take out enemies yourself, communicating with people. It was really fun back in the PS3 days, just playing with friends, because it had split screen too. And yeah, it just takes the best of both worlds, because tower defense is fun, like having the tons of enemies coming in and your towers just beating them, but also being in the midst of it in third person, and seeing all the action happening and taking part in it.
Awesome. Sorry, we're typing about ants. No, ants. No, I played a little bit of that on the 360. And wasn't it like each character has their own different spells and shit too? And
Yep.
yeah, that was fun. They made,
Great idea.
I think they're on the 3rd game now, aren't they?
They're on the 3rd or 4th, and they apparently keep getting worse with each one.
Nice.
Games like this, I don't know. I probably have heard of it or seen it, but like it's one of those things where there's a difficult task ahead of game developers when they name their games. And if you name your game
Yeah.
Dungeon Defenders, it's
Yeah.
kind of like, I might have even played this game and I don't remember it.
Right?
You know?
It's definitely a PS3 era PS3 game.
Yeah. Yeah, it sounds like it, but it sounds good.
Speaking of ants, what about what about I couldn't pick a good one for this, but the sorry. Any Castlevania game that was I guess directed by Koji Igarashi, so like the
I love that one.
Igavanias, I guess you would say. Yes, sir. So like Castlevania Symphony of the Night, Aria of Sorrow, all those. But fuck it, I'm just gonna go with Symphony of the Night. Just your platforming RPG basically, because you jump on top of stuff. 2D, of course. There's only 2 dimensions up in this bitch, and you kill enemies, get XP, level up. Leveling up increases your stats, but you also like enemies will drop gear and items that you can use to restore your health or MP. You find different spells that you can learn. You can buy more gear. You also like there's little secret areas that you can find that'll give you also new armor, or shields, or weapons and stuff like that. But if you
did he do Portrait of Ruin?
Yes, yeah.
I really like Portrait.
Oh, you mean
of
every selfie I take of myself?
Damn.
Ruin.
Yeah, he did all 3 on the DS. There was that, and holy shit, Order of Ecclesia, and the other one that I don't know, but yeah, they're all good. Yeah, if you have, I know Symphony of the Night is on. You can play it on Xbox Series X. That's backwards compatible from the 360, and
Nice.
there's the 3 on the Advanced Collection that are really good, especially Aria of Sorrow. No, Circle of the Moon is also good too. I like that one. That one has cards. I should have said that. Fuck,
cards.
But yeah, they're all good.
Limited Run is coming out with the Advanced Collection, and it has additionally added. They're coming out with a physical version of it with Dracula X thrown on there too.
Oh no shit!
Yeah.
That's awesome.
So did that used to be called Dracula Twitter?
Yeah. Yes, exactly.
Take that, Elon. I think. But no, yeah, they're so good. I've played Symphony of the Night like 5 times. The other ones I've played like maybe like once or twice through, but they're so fun, especially if you love just exploring, and because like there's no, unlike say like Metroid or like other, I guess, Metroidvanias where you're like supposed to
He
go to
said
this
the thing.
place.
He said the
He
thing.
said
Yeah.
it.
Where those ones have you go from like you have to go to this place to get this item, so you can go to this place and shit like that. But like the Castlevanias, it's just like you can go in any which fucking direction you want to,
Mhm.
and get this power up to go wherever else and discover all this shit. It's great. They're good.
Yeah.
They're really good.
Yeah. Yeah, you kind of can't go wrong with a Castlevania game. They're a lot of fun.
Oh
It's
yeah,
been a while
Yeah.
since I played one, but man, do they have
They're
a
gonna have
DS
to now.
collection? They need a DS collection.
They do. You don't need the fucking touch screen for like anything. I don't think like they should just port them to like
Yeah.
one screen.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Well, speaking of one screen, here's a game you could play on one.
This guy's better than us at this.
God damn it.
I don't think I am. Man, I really like. I know I have a lot of games here, so I'm kind of want to pick and choose carefully based off of what I think are cooler games or cooler mixes of genres.
Mhm.
So I'm going to go with one that's kind of timely. It's having a moment right now, and that would be the Pikmin series.
Ooh,
yeah.
that's
Which-
a great
yeah.
pick.
That makes
Yeah,
sense.
they're a mix of dungeon crawling, puzzle, like RTS, adventure.
Yeah.
They're really like there's such an amalgamation of different genres. It's not really easy to pigeonhole them into one at all. But I played the first Pikmin on GameCube and had a great time with it.
Tommy
I
did not.
recently
Ah,
played the
still
Pikmin
waiting.
4 demo too. I did not buy the game, but I'm like close to buying it. And yeah, I love the Pikmin games. I think they do a good job of forming almost their own genre of game,
Mhm.
but it does mix in those elements of RTS because you kind of have to pick which Pikmin you're going to attack with based off of what the enemy is and how they'll react to it. And then it's also the dungeon crawling, especially in Pikmin 4. They have this whole sections, like underground sections. I think this started in Pikmin 2. Where you go underground and you kind of have to, there are enemies down there. There's also like more resources to farm and things like that, which is also another genre that could be added to the list here. But everything is puzzly too. You have to pick how you approach, how you get to the next point, right? Everything in the environment is a puzzle to solve. And then yeah, it's an adventure title as well because ultimately you want to repair your ship and get off the planet. But man, it's such a cool mix, such a cool series of games. And Tommy, you did not play the first Pikmin?
No, I'm still waiting. Aaron said that I could borrow it when we were in 6th grade, and he still hasn't done that, so I'm still waiting on that.
Wow, it's in the mail, I bet.
Yeah,
He could have just handed it to me.
it got lost by USPS. Sorry, Tommy.
You guys played Pikmin though? You got experience
never
with
played
the
it.
Pikmin games? No. I mean, obviously not the
I
first
did.
one, but you know, maybe
I-
some
I-
of the later titles.
I played it. I haven't played any of the other ones because I keep telling myself I'm gonna beat the first Pikmin before I play any of the other ones.
Yeah.
But yeah, the first one's cool.
I would urge you both to the Pikmin demo is available on Switch right now, and it's a good few hours of gameplay. And if you
Few
do
hours?
decide,
Holy cow!
yeah, and if you decide to actually buy the game, your save carries over, so it's not like wasted progress. And I would
That's
definitely
cool.
urge you to check it out. It's a good taste of Pikmin 4, and I'm probably going to buy the game when it goes on sale a little bit.
Yeah,
Nice.
I've definitely been interested for a long time. A very long time.
Stop it.
Yes, since 6th grade, one could say.
Oh man. Speaking of games that I played when I was younger, how much? What time are we at? Do we have time for one more or two more? I need to decide.
I have one left.
Then we're gonna do one more. I want to talk about the ultimate crossover genre video game, the most crossover-ish game that has ever existed. Spore.
What?
Spore.
Well, yeah, but like, how does it the ultimate crossover? What?
I meant genres, crossover of genres.
Oh. Okay.
I worded it wrong. I'm sorry.
Okay, you're good.
But Spore, it's a video game where it has 5 stages in one game, I guess. The first is the cell stage, which is like a top down, just kind of exploring and eating simulator where you're just a little one celled creature and you go around either eating other creatures or eating plants and trying to swim away from other creatures. Um, one of the coolest things it does in this stage is in the background you see massive giant creatures that are far bigger than you are, and they don't even like acknowledge you because you're so small. But as you eat and grow bigger, they like come into the foreground as you become their size, and eventually you grow bigger than them and you can eat them. It's so cool.
That does sound cool.
And then
Yes.
the creature stage, you go onto land now, and that's like a third person exploration game, I guess. You kind of have to find other creatures of your species, and you hunt and gather meat and breed to make more of you, and it's just kind of growing in that way. It's almost like a I don't know what I want to call that one. But then there's the tribal stage, which is just a straight up RTS. Um,
Nice.
it's a top down view, and everyone else has tribes, so it's you have to like make all your different buildings that do different things that create food and stuff, and then you have to go and battle other tribes in typical RTS stylings. And then once you're big enough, it goes to the civilization stage, which plays like Civilization. It's turn based now, and you can do politics, and you got to go collect resources and create vehicles and stuff. And then it culminates in the space stage, which is it's a space game. You go to other galaxies, you go to other solar systems, and you can populate those, and then you create spaceships, and you can even like help or hinder other alien species. It's just ridiculous how much game there is, how many different genres there are, and to go from a single-celled organism all the way to traveling space and conquering the galaxy is nuts.
That's fuck. I didn't realize there was that much to Spore. I thought it was just like you make goofy, wonky, like penis creatures,
That's the
and
fun
then
part.
Exactly.
okay.
I thought it was like an evolution sim, and that's about as far as it went. I didn't realize there was like RTS involved and
Oh
everything
yeah,
else.
yeah.
It's
And
pretty
some of
cool.
them you can basically play the space stage forever. Like there's tons and tons. Let's see, there's around 500,000 planets, so you can never really be done
Damn.
with that. But yeah, it's really cool. I should play that again.
These had like their moment in the sun too, you know.
Yeah,
There were sequels and like little like ports that weren't the original game and stuff. And I
yeah,
literally have never touched a Spore game, but they definitely were popular for a time.
yeah. There was even a DS version.
Speaking of Curious George, another stretch. But have either of you ever played Rune Factory?
I watched a trailer of it.
I have
Okay.
not.
Okay. Well, Rune Factory, like the only one I've ever played is 4, but they're essentially spin-offs of the Harvest Moon or Story of Seasons fucking series. That's like a more fantasy version of it. So it's a of course farming sim, but it's also like a dating sim,
Ooh,
virtual not virtual novel, sorry, visual novel, dungeon crawler, fucking city management, all sorts of shit. But um, in Rune Factory 4 anyway, you're this amnesiac dude, go fucking figure. And you wake up, oh, my head hurts, don't remember anything. But then everybody's like, oh, you're this dude, you're this prince, you're supposed to save us. And of course, your main doofus character, he's like, oh yeah, yep, that's me. Um, and yeah, you plant a garden, and you help the town by gathering materials, and you farm stuff, and
do you
it'll
like this game, Aaron?
Yeah,
I
it
do,
sounds
but
like you're
it's
exhausted by this.
I do, but it's exhausting, dude. I like farming sims and like cozy games like that, but god damn it, are they demanding? Like it's if I miss a day of playing them, I get real itchy. Like, dude, I need to
Oh, of
milk those
course.
cows. I need to chop down those fucking trees. But um, the dungeon crawling is awesome because like for one, the music is great. The second, like it's like action based combat. You're just running through, hacking and slashing, and you learn different spells, and you can craft different kinds of weapons and shit. And it's got one of those like progression systems where like shit levels up as you use it. So like your hammer proficiency will go up the more you use hammers. Your sword proficiency will go up the more you use swords, and it's really cool. I mean, I'm exhausted by them, but they're good. I think 4 and 5 are on current systems, and then 3 they're doing a remake of soon.
Nice.
Heck yeah.
Nice. If I
Yeah.
ever want to be exasperated by a
Yeah.
game, I'll play some Rune Factory for sure.
Out of breath just from sitting there. Like,
I gotta plant some seeds.
these fucking trees won't cut themselves, man.
I gotta milk these cows. Oh man,
Ooh, shit.
I gotta weaponize these ants.
Yeah, for real, they're little purse dogs, dude.
So I guess this is it. I have to pick one
is it?
more. I have a
This is
few
it?
left. So
It's-
can I pick one and then like give a few honorable mentions? Is that
Of course.
acceptable? All
Yeah.
right, sweet.
Yeah, it's
So
your show now.
Speaking of Rune Factory and other games people have never heard of, just something that's happened to me a lot on this episode. The game I want to pick is a game called Elebits. Have you guys heard of Elebits?
I've heard of Elebits. I need to. Is that
Elebits?
a Wii game?
It is a Nintendo Wii
Yes.
game.
Oh my gosh, I had forgotten about this.
So it's a mix of hide and seek and like a first person shooter.
What the fuck?
Yeah. So you find these cute little creatures called Elebits and then you shoot them in the face after you find them.
Nice.
No, you don't. You don't really. I mean, you kind of effectively you do, but it's not story wise. That's not what it is. So basically, in this world that the game takes place, Elebits control electricity. So how everything in your home or gets power is through Elebits. So basically, the Elebits have escaped. So you start in a room. It's like your room, right? And everything's off. The lights are off. The TV's off, and the Elebits are hiding somewhere in this room. So you use the Wiimote to like move furniture and open drawers and move stuff around, and like you could actually manipulate the Wiimote and nunchuck to like peek, so you kind of get on your tippy toes or like peek around. And when you find these Elebits, you have to then like first person shooter kind of shoot them, and it adds to the total, which then powers up the things in the room you're in, right? So you have to find all the Elebits that have run amok in the current room through this hide and seek kind of mechanic. And then once you find them, you shoot them to add them to the like electric power of the room to power up all the machinery of the room you're in. And it's a really like neat idea, really cool combination of two genres that I mean, first person shooters, right? They're everywhere, but like how many hide and seek games are there like at all?
Yeah.
So it's a neat mix of those two genres, and I think it pulls it off really well. It's an endearing game, really cool art style, interesting story, unique story, and it's fun to play. It's a lot of fun to play.
That
What a
does sound
great
really
pick.
cool.
Hey, thanks.
According to Wikipedia, in the PAL territories, it
Yes.
was called LEDs. They were
Yeah,
instead
which
of
makes
Elebits,
way
they're
more
LEDs.
sense, right?
Yeah, right. I was like, oh, that's a good name.
And it's not LEDs, like
It's spelled out.
it's like ELLEEDEES.
Yeah.
Right?
Man,
it's like LEDs. Yeah.
I can't believe that I hadn't thought about this game in like a decade and a half.
But you played it?
No, I've never played it. But I remember it. I read about it in Nintendo Power magazine.
Yeah, it's definitely like, part of like the Wii Ha series. I did a lot of research to find out what games are worth getting. And this came up a lot as a hidden gem on the system. And it's super cheap. So if, obviously you could emulate the game. But if you don't want to do that, if you have a Wii lying around or your grandparents do, then you can actually purchase the game really cheap. It's like $5. You could find Elebits complete
cool.
mods for like $5, and it's a lot of fun to play. Yeah, it's definitely worth your time if you have the means to play it.
That's fantastic.
According to our good friend Wikipedia, there's even the sequel on the DS, and it looks kind of interesting.
What's the sequel called?
So it's Elebits: The Adventures of Kai and Zero. And instead of being like first person, though, it's like a top-down perspective. But it
looks like Pokemon Rangers.
Ew.
So my honorable mentions, guys. Can I get into this?
Yeah,
do it.
All right, real quick. I'll go through them quickly. One of the honorable mentions is Super Hot, which is a mix of like puzzle and first-person shooter.
Yep.
The way things only move when you do, it's very puzzly for that sort of game. And if you've played it in VR, you know what's up. That game is awesome in VR.
Yeah.
And then Metroid Prime, which is first-person shooter
Yep.
/ Metroidvania / platformer. I
Mm-hmm.
also wanted to shout out Turok, which was like a first-person shooter /
Scary.
platformer before it was good, like before you could actually make those things
Oh my gosh.
work together well.
Brief pause. I played that when I was a kid, like up until there were dinosaurs because it was scary. And I remember it was either a hint in the game or I read it on the Nintendo Power. They're like, jumping is hard. It might help to look down at your feet when you make jumps.
Yes.
Like that's exactly what I told you to do. Instead of looking where you're going, just look at where your feet are so you know when to jump.
Yeah, and it was inverted too, which is horrible to deal with. It's tough to go back to, I'll tell you that much. You have to switch the controls for sure. And then the last one I want to mention is the first game I remember being like all encompassing in so many genres, and that's GTA 3, Grand Theft Auto 3.
Oh, that's cheating.
Why is that cheating? It was like the first one to do this, though. It's open world. It's a driving sim. It's a third-person action with a cinematic story. Like, yeah,
he's right.
Okay,
it's allowed.
Have to shout it out.
That's
why
it's
a shout out.
If you
Judge
can
Brett
say
said so we gotta allow it.
If you can say that Fallout 3 is what was it, a reimagining or whatever, then he can say that GTA 3 is a mix of genres.
Okay, we'll allow it. Sorry,
hey,
we'll allow it.
Yes. There's even like RC cars in GTA 3, right? Isn't there like an RC level where you use like a radio controlled car?
I had a GameCube, so I don't know.
But yeah, there's well, I guess I don't know about 3, but I know there's a bunch like that in San Andreas.
Yeah. So there you go. That's the games I brought to the table.
Those are good games that you brought to the table. We really feasted today.
Yum.
Yeah, we did. My belly is full. Pat.
If
Burp.
if people want to hear more from you, Ryan, where can they find you and the List Off podcast again?
So if you just happen to buy a sausage McMuffin, I'll be there. Don't worry about it.
As soon as that a rapper starts uncrinkling, he's just like running up the hill.
Hi, I'm Ryan.
Can I get a bite of that?
You may have heard me on the SuperPod Saga. So you could find us on social medias. We are List Off Podcast on Instagram and List Off _podcast on Twitter. We have a Discord. We have a podcast that's available everywhere you get your podcasts. Come hang out with us. Give us a listen, and I hope you have a good time. I wish I could guarantee you have a good time, but like, I don't know. I can't guarantee anything nowadays. So I hope you do, though.
Yeah. And
you're
Aaron,
I was gonna say their server is pretty fun too, where they have like the snap tournaments and the complaint corner. That's like my favorite place to go.
Yeah. Everybody's got complaints about the world, right? Yeah, lots of Lego stuff on there. We do like Lego stuff. We do movies, like all nerdy stuff, you know.
Yeah. Aaron, if people do want guaranteed good times with following the SuperPod Saga, where can they find us?
If you do need to let the good times roll, you can head on over to superpodsaga.com and all of our other episodes, our blog, our social medias. If you want to follow it, we'll say Twitter. It's Twitter still. Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, whatever. Join our server. Page with money. If you like the show, be a patron. superpodsaga.com.
Yeah, and before I forget, thank you, Ryan. Thank you for being here.
Before I forget, thank you guys for having me. This has been a lot of fun, man. Lots of games. I was saying to Tommy that like this is the first time I've been on I think this is the most blanks I've ever drawn on a podcast where it's like, have you heard of this game?
That's what
no, I have not. But it's good. It's good. More games out there to play, right?
Yeah, exactly. I never would have predicted we would have talked about Elebits on this show.
I was gonna say that too.
Today's that day. You guys talked about Deadly Creatures a few episodes ago, and I was like, somebody else remembers this game.
What a game. Speaking of games, what are we going to talk about in the next episode that Ryan won't be a part of?
I think it'd be fun to talk about our whole like complete history of gaming, just from like start to where we are now. Like I thought that'd be kind of fun.
Okay, I like that.
I've
gone through changes.
Me too. I'm always going through change. I'm
You
a
could
grown
say
boy.
I've matured.
I'm a man now.
Oh, you guys are gonna hear how I've changed as a person through video games.
Oh man.
So look forward to that. Thank you for listening. Thank you, Ryan, for being here. Thank you, Aaron, for everything you do. Thank you, listeners. You're all beautiful, and we love you. Goodbye.
Bye.
Bye.